I'm going to turn this. Oh, I gotta see. Oh, this here, right? So that your person can see me. Social media family, and do just that. Change over to this to the other side of the table. Okay. That's not supposed to be more. Yes, so you all see my social media family, as you all know. As I explained to the person for the longest, how I would have to put this on a particular personal device of mine of electronic nature in the shop sometime whenever I can or could possibly do just that. Regardless of how my money is looking kind of funny, obviously, evidently, and sometimes this other personal computer be acting up in its own right, but it's much bigger than this one. I don't know, really carrying so much stuff, through the streets. Some such riffraff could possibly think of me as prey, and I can get more than enough of business coming from any proverbial neighbors from down to hell, or worse ones to where I'm at now, or a worse neighborhood, community for the vicinity area where I live, and or pay annual monthly rent, utilities, and etc. And I don't need any more conflicts of interest. Read between the lines, fill in the blanks. Sorry about the last broadcast where y'all couldn't see my face so much, whereas as I had my personal electronic device computer positioned rather, erroneously or whatever I say, I think you get the idea what I'm trying to say. Okay, it's much better. Sorry about the last social media broadcast. Whereas I was also in a public setting using this free Wi-Fi, and for that being which was for a bookstore. Last I was on here, as a matter of fact, for the one across the street from this here public branch library, being the headquarters public branch library that has authority over all the other public branch libraries throughout the city. So, anyway, though, how you all doing? Hopefully everybody's feeling at least okay. If not better yet to be said, to be feeling all right. Feeling our best about it, he said, to be feeling blessed and stressed, more blessed and stressed, too blessed to possibly become or be stressed. You and yours, your family and friends, hopefully me and mine likewise as well, all the same. And do excuse part of butchering the English language as the African dialect, as being of some such qualities. Then was I had never claimed to have become or be an English major, neither nor how much less have I ever claimed to have become or be an English professor of some kind, sort of type. Anyway, though, and moving right along as backtrack here, reason further being, so I can go on with the following from where and that my first and last left off, so I can finish up as a complete form of previous prior I thought in the Saints school. Whereas lately, I myself personally have been feeling like dead man walking, like the Walking Dead or zombie. Well, hopefully not so much as, mentally as well as physically. Well, I feel a little better in either of both those two regards. So mentioned, compared to how I was feeling last, sometimes late night hours or for the late evening yesterday, you know, whereas I thought I had, you know, more than misplaced my electronic device otherwise of a personal watch hooked up with my cell phone. See that there? As in, I thought I had lost it, and not just having, you know, misplaced or whereas it had somehow come off my wrist, and whereas I would lose it, for a public or private place of business or for a mass transit of the public transportation system by some such other thing, for a given bus and train ride. But I thought that I lost it like as if somebody had clipped me for it, and somehow managed to, you know, take it off my wrist, you know, until I found out that I had dropped it somewhere in my place of residence for this atmosphere, for one of the areas, be it for my living room area or my bedroom. I had misplaced it in my living room area that serves as a bedroom for a makeshift bedroom, you know, compared to my literal actual back bedroom to my place of residence apartment. They give me an announcement now, half an hour before. But then I'm getting back to something such as to complete, a line of thought, and where someone will say, well, why don't you just use your bedroom area for a bedroom? I mean, that's what it's for, is it not? No, I use my living room area, and that's because with the neighborhood I'm living in for a community, within the Cincy area being a worst or one of the worstest ones yet within city limits, all the same, it is one of the worst of ones, predominantly ethnic minority, as well as, more poverty stricken, more crime ridden ones. So I have to sleep much closer to my apartment door just in case somebody could possibly attempt to violate my civil and human rights and make like the intruder or home invader, you know. It's just how volatile this neighborhood is further south of the city. You know. Whereas at one time when I lived in a better neighborhood that's similar to the downtown vicinity area, district of a neighborhood community for the business and school hub of our city, you know, like say for the north side, you know, as well as for where I was at, that's further south of the city, but not so south, whereas it would be depicted as one of those, predominantly ethnic minority and more poverty stricken and more crime ridden ones, whereas I was previously in a multiracial and less poverty stricken crime ridden one so far as the Centenary neighborhood with the city limits is concerned before I was booted out of there, being that because proverbial neighbor from damn hell of the black persuasion managed to, flip the script on me after I went through all the proper policies and procedures and protocol to state my grievances as he complained about his daily and nightly routine of violating his own apartment rental lease agreement, and as well at the same time he would, disrespect my rights and privileges as his fellow neighbor. You know, it's after I went through all the proper policies and procedures and protocol to address the issue to not only the management as a real estate management representative, administrative personnel, but also as I had, contacted as in tried to do some kind of report with members of the law enforcement community, as in the police or cops, to say, and with little no avail. And he out of resentment for my folks having done so, retaliated by how he had convinced the management of the building to give me the walking paper that he should have received. I told you all this story about 100,000, million, billion, trillion times, but not literally actually 100,000, million, billion, trillion times. But I think this joint does ignore any interruptions or disruptions to social media content of a broadcast, like that with this present video, being it because I am within a public setting. I have little, if any, control over, the sounds otherwise, as it is a public branch library, with many different patrons, or there are many different mentalities and personalities, and etc. Then let me see how much time I have left before this library closes. I'm watching this thing. Oh, anyway, I'm going to try to make this rather comical or comedic social media broadcast video, as well as speak in a serious and thought process word to try to lighten the mood for any life crisis being in which I had become subject to experiencing. Like say most recently, I had broadcast for about something like 1/10 of the usual regular half an hour, 30 minutes that I would broadcast any social media content. That's so and moving right along. So and not that any of you all are PO me as control. I mean, did I say control? I'm sorry, my day hasn't been really good. Well, as in parole officer. Yeah, not that I would do anything to, get a PO for myself. I've never done any real serious time. You know, I know some that others could fight and say, well, wuss or wimp. That all depends on the individual. If you are a law-abiding American citizen and a foreigner like I myself am, then if anything, you should congratulate me and say, how about that? Kudos to you, compared to how some are such stupid, sick, or ignorant, insane persons who have done time in the can and the crazy house for that matter and keep making it like a revolving door being the social rejects will think otherwise. Like they're wearing some kind of, like they got some kind of marriage, like they think it's some kind of honorable badge to wear to have done time in either of those two camps, for the can or the crazy house. That's just so much, stinking thinking, as we say, you know, within the atmospheres of self-help recovery program meetings, stinking thinking, so much nonsense. Then speaking on that last, I went to, one of my much more frequented self-help recovery program meetings today, you know, compared to one of my less attended ones. I just didn't feel so much into it, though I had to, make sure I get there with the most recent life crisis that I had become subjected to experiencing, as I was informing you all about this one, shyster scam artist of a niggly acting, faggy, drunken bum white boy who had took me for a ride, took me to the cleaners and hung me out to dry, whereas he had played on my kindness, whereas I had played the part of the Samaritan for him, you know, then karma is a monster. I'm going to get to that. So anyway, I had met him in this here, public facility as the added for his address location, being of a public library, for that is some such given moment in time. And whereas, okay, I think I was I on this floor or a different floor? No, I was on the floor, not above but below this one. I had changed seating plan arrangements where I'm at now compared to where I was seated at. You know, prior to then, previously or formerly been because some such another male of the same sex, the black persuasion, I felt this rather stupid, sick need to sit behind me while I'm about to broadcast this present social media content of the video. That makes the second or third black person that has done that. But anyway, getting back to what I was trying to say, from the previous conversations. So I met this here, um, you know, yeah, I met this white boy like in this library for the floor level below this one, and whereas I took it that he was about some serious business, trying to be legit, trying to get his life together. I'm noticing that he has a working cell phone and a working laptop computer, and last but not least, some kind of a lemon of a rad ass broken down car, automobile, motor vehicle that I found out later. So I'm listening to him, have a conversation with one of his homies on his personal cell phone. Listen to the conversation as he's discussing matters about money issues to his partner on the opposite end of his cell phone line. So like I walked on over to his table and put some money down, the table where he would sit at across from the one I would sit at. I put more than quite a few dollars, more than a couple few dollars, I say, on the table for him. But only after I had encountered him, you know, he had ran alongside the left, went through some book hours, and then come out on right of me. And that's when he sat at this other table. So I'm listening to his conversation on the cell phone. I walked over to the table, put some money down. I said, now you have more money for yourself, whatever it's worth to you. And whatever you do with it, that should tie you over at least for a little while. But it was more than a couple of dollars, more than $2 or $3, I assure you. It broke the bank. Only found out this ungrateful shyster, scam artist, con artist, other nigga acting, nigga when you act, moist white boy wanna play me. Whereas, from there, against my gut feeling, against my better judgment, which I should have went with my gut feeling, I offered him as an extended invitation for him to spend the night with me back at my place of residence, though I live in one of the worst neighborhoods now in the sanctuary of the city limits. At least I'm not of the rank and file of a homeless, derelict transit as he himself is. So I offered him to spend the night at my place of residence of apartment being which he had done or did only after I had not only given him money, but I also bought him 2 meals in a better neighborhood for a restaurant, not a fast food place, not lunch and dinner, but breakfast and lunch. And then I paid for gas for his lemon of a ride of a broken down car, automobile, or whatever. Then last but not least, or worse of all, I had allowed him, permitted his funky style, stinking, stanking, shyster, scam artist, con artist, nigga, faggoty, rip off artist, but butter behind to spend a night in my place of residence, at some given time. And some of the other words were not meant to sound the same, like homie bashing, which I'm not. I'm just telling like it is. I mean, as certain males who represent less manhood and much more familiar faggots or homos. Then we get back to some such other. Yeah. So I gave him the back bedroom to my place of residence with the atmosphere of criminal properties, compared to how I slept in my living room area, being where I usually sleep, as a makeshift bedroom, sleep in my living room area as a makeshift bedroom. Then because the neighborhood I'm living in now, the worst one, my living room area is closer to my apartment door. So anyway, though, here it is at 5 something in the morning. He's standing up in the entranceway doorway of my makeshift bedroom, my living room area. It spooked the damn hell out of me as a believing God, so how much more would it spook me if I was still a unbelieving number? And so he's talking about my alarm clock. I'm like thinking in my head, go back to bed. John Wayne Gacy wanna be or Jeffrey Dahmer wanna be. Don't worry about my alarm clock. Just go back to bed. You gotta be grateful that I even let you cross the border into my place of bed. I'm like thinking all this time about, especially when I found out that he had no means by which he could compensate or reimburse me for me doing all that good Samaritan stuff for him. But then I'm about to get to where karma is a monster. So After a while, it finally clicked in. He's just mooching off me or welching. Especially when one of the signs I should have seen, like snap, crack on part, he mentioned about a rich relative. I'm like saying, why you gotta go there, There a rich relative gonna break me off a piece. That was the clincher to make sure he could get into my place of residence. Unfortunately, I let him spend the night. Yeah, but I wasn't about to let him spend another night. So I asked him, well, when you supposed to have something coming in, which I should have asked him from the get go, from the very beginning. But then because, you know, I took it that he's a white boy, and I kind of slept that one. I noticed he had a working cell phone, as I was saying, staple that he had, as I stated for the record, I was saying, I had, because he had swindled, scammed, conned me. I took it then because he had a working cell phone, you know, and a working laptop, limit of a car. Not most homeless person, very few homeless person have cars. That he could possibly be on some real stuff, trying to get his life together, trying to take care of some business. And I slept him on. I should have asked him up front, do you have any money coming in? Whereas if they had been a black or Hispanic brother, I've been less likely to do all that good Samaritan stuff for him. Is what I'm trying to say. So when it comes time for you know, for because I invited him from there to self-help recovery program meeting with me. Only found out from there that he had some like, he claimed he not any longer have a $900 in GoFundMe account. So when it come time for the meeting to end, or after it did, I had my English grammar dialect is not really good, for us. So he asked me a question of when we're gonna go back to your place. And I said, it's not a matter of we, it's a matter of me. You can go wherever the damn hell you want. Son of a bastard, you been played me. And he left some of his stuff in my place of residence to, you know, be some kind of insurance to make sure he get back into my place to chill, like, as they say, according to street slang, black or Hispanic violence for that matter. Asian violence, etc. But anyway, I'm like, you know, it's not a matter of me. I mean, it's not a matter of we. Sorry, I'm library about to close on distraction. Anyway, I'm like, it's not a matter of we, it's a matter of me. You go wherever the hell, damn hell you want. As they say in lines, tabernacles, you ain't got to go home, but you got to go from here. So I like saying, the nerve of him. I mean, the audacity. One working stiff holding down a 9 to 5 job, the gig is that, 8 hours, give or take, of an employee for a big business company or a small business for that matter. It's not necessary. It don't necessarily have to be a Fortune 500 company, especially if an employee is one who is employed by a small business. What work is still holding down a 9 to 5 job, or what college or university student do you know that's going to let a complete stranger, let alone, not to mention a homeless shyster, scam out his car out his bum, spend the night in one's place of residence, where one pays annual monthly rent, utilities, home phone service, fee bill payments, etc. Nobody, not in this world, only a Christian believing God would do that. Going the extra mile, going beyond the call of duty than the average member, carcane member to the household of faith or the family of God. I told him that you got to go. I said, you got to go. You done played me. You got to go now. Bye bye. Don't go away mad. Just go away. Bye bye. But anyway, and getting back to the part about karma now, not that I mean to overkill your eardrum with that sad sex story of a life crisis in which I had become subject to experience. So karma is a monster, as I was saying. Whereas I have thought to pay a visit to this one soup kitchen, moonlight in a food pantry, being one of my regularly frequented ones, much rather than instead compared to one of my less attended ones, and found out that his same limit of a ride of a broken down car had gotten impounded because he didn't pay his car notes, and Whereas the human side of me is like saying, good, serve them right. Yes. But then on the other hand, the side of me that's supposed to be believing God felt sorry for him, sad, but still all the same, I'm not about to let him, try to take me for a ride, try to get freebies off. You know, like I said, you ain't got to go home, but you got to go from here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Yeah, check out this reading here. Picked up library here. It's the headquarters library. And it's about to close I pulled it about 10 minutes now. This stuff. And some of this I could really use. Not this here, I don't have an estate, or a living trust, but it could come in handy if ever I would acquire some. So this other I could surely use. Say, I could use this stuff. Yeah, just in case I get in trouble with my landlord if I were to, take on a squatter, trying to get squatters rights, trying to get freebies and not pay rent. Somebody else's place of residence, or they announcing the library like closed. And that is that's almost like in any libraries, like closed. Oh yeah, one time I let that white boy, like stay in my place before he spent the night while I went outside to take care of some business. He could have stolen some stuff of mine and attempted to make me become such an expense and identity theft, just about scams. And that's the key, I would think, of the life he is. So I got to make sure that he hadn't stolen some of my personal information while I stepped out of my place of residence. Of a pad at some so give him time as a place of residence in the park. Acting like misbehaving, acting negative toward me, like a tricky little booger, as they say. I'm borrowing one liner from that movie flick called The Django. The Django. He played me. I'm like, black slaves here, man. The booger boo. I better keep rid of these. Just in case. I'm subjected to Spencer. Funky foul. Shucks, man. FBS and crap like that again. Anyway, though, let me close out because this library is about to close shop, So I hope that you all have gotten something out of what was said here and now. And I'll get back with you all later if you I can't say how soon, After all, I have yet to renew my apartment rental lease, although I paid my rent most recently for this month. Is it? No, for last month. Well, I usually pay it, some like though after mid month, I pay my rent last. So that's what happened to me most recently, as you all know. To get back with you first, much goes out. On this last note of interest, I would like to say that if you haven't gotten Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, I would hope that you would think to do so now while blood is still running on your veins. And recognize and realize what He Himself had done and did on the cross of Calvary and His glory, suffering at the hands of some such Roman soldiers, upon the orders of their superiors, religious, political, militaristic, and otherwise, being their less ways, he went to cross Calvary to become the first sacrifice, one sacrifice for you as well as for me. So that if any of us being of whatever races, whatever walks of life, fashion, or society, like our preferences, and the old, young, like both two sexual beings, the male and female, represent not only the human species, but the global community within this post 911 era of our millennium liquid day and age, where the doomsday clock is now at a couple of minutes to midnight compared on our foreign period prior to them. With a quarter midnight for the right biblically professed him, with a professed some such faith in him. Never will come or be blessed one God, another more with one. First and foremost, with his salvation, then of which is the only means by which anybody can or could possibly become citizens of the kingdom of heaven. Second of all, with his deliverance. First, you have got to get the salvation, otherwise you have nothing coming so far blessing is concerned. If you leave this world without that only fire insurance against the lake of fire, then hell, your final destination will be just that, to burn for all eternity there. The rest of the unsaved, lost down human soul, the unbelievable and unbelievable, compared to how we as believing God will be across that great divide that separates heaven from hell in the presence of God, the same worldwide, compared to the unbelieving.